Okay, so in essence, the primary purpose of these videos is just to reiterate what I learned the day in regards to sales with Wolves Group, and the other thing is what I can do to be better, specifically focusing on my tonality, my expressions. So with that being said, since this is the first one, just gonna go through some of the notes that were accumulated over the past few days, mostly from the role play calls, all of that. So in essence, there's a few things, and I kind of have it on separate sheets, some on my phone, but there's three main things coming from one person that I basically, if I want to get to the next level, which I'm going to, I have to do them every day and work on them daily, because it's going to build confidence and focus and a high level of authority. So the first one, it's actually not related to sales. It's actually it is related to sales, but I don't need to mention it here. I think you know what that means. The second one is during the script runs, but in essence, in all other areas of life as much as possible, but primarily starting with the script runs, completely remove the trying for rapport tonality, because, for example, there was one that we did yesterday, and for most of the script, the breaking rapport tonality was pretty solid. However, there was a time when I was going through the pricing options, and when you're doing that, you ask them if they have the pen and paper. So as I was going through the options and I was asking them, do you still have that pen and paper? I said it with the trying for rapport. So at the end I inflected up. So I was, hey, do you still have that pen and paper? And it removed authority from me and it passed it on to them. And we can't have that. It has to remain throughout the whole call. You're the professional here, you're the producer. They're the ones that are being led by you. So that was just one example. There are a few others, but that was the primary one. So that's why this is a main component that has to be implemented. The third piece of advice is actually in relation to this. So basically every day, starting today, August 10th of 2025, gonna go through and film like a 10-minute quick podcast. Doesn't have to be exactly 10 minutes, but give or take. And the main purpose of that is practice the break and rapport tonality. That's thing one. And the second part is just to go through what I learned that day. And the main things that it's being done via video, via filming myself like a podcast. The main reasons is that when the facial expressions are being shown, it's much better to see where the flaws may be in the tonality and find areas for improvement. In fact, one of the leaders in Wolves, he said that those who are most successful with the sales are people who previously came from like acting, which is, even though you're speaking on the phone, the thing to understand is your face, it's the remote control to your tonality. So like if you're talking confused, well, John, why do you feel that way? Whereas if you're more concerned, oh my gosh, John. So that kind of thing. And when your face changes expressions, that results in actually over the phone, them hearing that and feeling that, not just words coming out of your mouth. So that's the primary reason for filming myself, not just recording it via voice, which I've already been doing, but obviously this extra little bit, this filming and seeing my facial expressions is gonna be even better. It's gonna take it to the next fucking level. So with that being said, that's one part. And then the 5 main things, just compiling some notes over the past few role plays. There's 5 main things that really need to be implemented. They're kind of interrelated and, quite frankly, redundant. But basically, in order to go from my default of my 1.0 version to my 2.0 version, it's the following items. So the first one being, your tonality's got to be more natural. There's got to be more up, down. So sound less like a robot. Obviously, that takes practice, takes these. Just something I got to open up more, relax more, because it comes like from my inner being, because when you're tight, obviously you're going to speak way more monotone, right? However, when you're natural, when you're flowing, there's a lot more ups and downs, that type of thing. So that's thing 1. And then as part of that thing 1, keep the authority, but even build on it more, because the stronger your tonality of breaking rapport is, the more value you present to the other person. And it's not just in these calls, it's in every aspect of life, right? So you got to present that value with your breaking rapport tonality. And aside from that creates leadership. People want someone to follow. So if you're going to be a fucking leader and speak with breaking rapport, people find value in you. They're going to follow and do what you do, what you want them to do, what you tell them to do, right? Because you're subconsciously expressing the value that you have within yourself, for yourself, to them. And going back to the idea of frame, when you're in a conversation with 2 people, the person with the stronger self-belief creates the frame for the whole interaction, right? Like that example with 2 people talking. Any example, quite frankly, be it business, relationship, etc. It's applicable everywhere. So that's thing 1. Thing 2 is really work on the filler words and pauses. So especially in the discovery section, since that's more of the curious tone, like, John, why, I guess, did you want to take care of this now? That kind of thing. So really, really add pauses. And aside from the pauses, some really good filler words to add are, gotcha, I guess, you know. What would that, I mean, obviously, the way I'm saying it, probably not the way it's going to sound, but like, for example, so, John, I guess, what would it look like for you if your family wasn't able to take care of these expenses? Or something like, so, John, I guess, what makes you want to do this now? So, gotta keep implementing those. So that's thing 2. Thing 3, and it's already 8.5 minutes, so let's cut it soon. But the thing 3 is in the discovery section also, use the quote-unquote layups that they provide. Like when they give you an emotional pain point, really use that. Dig into it. Like, for example, so John, you mean Carlos, he'd no longer be able to afford to go to college if that happened? And see, I'm using a curious tone and digging on the pain. And then also in point 4 related to discovery, I mean, it's kind of the same thing as 3, is just be slower, ask them the right questions and listen, don't tell it for them. And then thing 5 is understand that the whole call, it's a conversation, it's not a presentation. You don't have to be a stiff, stick up your ass robot. It's gotta have flow, still have authority, but it can have flow too. I would say well, I guess the last 3 things for that I'll say is don't repeat their objection, and that's not just a discovery section. Don't say any motivating reasons. Replace that with what else would be the yada yada. And then again, just dig more. So I mean, it's really breaking rapport, build value, and at the same time in discovery, have more flow and more curiosity. All right, that's 10 minutes.